time you've ever been on television.
Yes.
What do you think of the experience?
It's very exciting and it's very important for me. And I think I appreciate that C-SPAN's chairman Brian Lamb invited me to watch cable news network in the United States, and as a result I'm here sitting in the studio. And
were you nervous before you went on today?
Yes.
Are you
it
nervous
was
now?
like an exam in my college.
Are you nervous now?
No, not. Thank you. I'm quiet.
Marysville, Washington, go ahead, please.
Brian, thank you. God bless Vital and your other guest. I have a little concern about some of the issues that have been addressed on our medium through a variety of television programmings that we monitor here in this state. And some are about the food distributions in the Soviet Union, and why some of the cable companies haven't jumped on the bandwagon there to help distribute outlets in regards to certain avenues for us to contribute to, or what government agencies to contact in regards to helping these people in their desperate hour. I don't know how worse a country can get when they're out of food as the Soviet Union is. And look what's going on now in Croatia. This thing, it seems to be an ongoing situation, not only for the Soviet Union, but a variety of other countries when they come to this paradox.
Mr. Effros.
Well, I think in terms of the question of can the cable industry or the media in the United States get involved in figuring out a way of helping with some distribution, I think we will become involved as soon as there is some form of answer. At the moment, there is no distribution mechanism. Before I got on, I heard somebody, a caller, asking Vitaly about getting a simple letter in to his friends in the Soviet Union, and I can say from the experience of my family and the folks that we work with a lot with Peace Child, the best way to get information or letters to friends in the Soviet Union is to send them with other people who are going from the United States to the Soviet Union, and then have them mailed in country. So that the whole distribution system really isn't working terribly well at the moment. There is no simple answer to where do you send your money or where do you send your food.
We're going to take another call, then show you a little bit more of the documentary and continue our discussion. Bloomington, Indiana, go ahead, please.
Hello, this is Bloomington, Indiana. My name is Sergey. I'm a Russian exchange student, and I'd like to express a common opinion about cable TV. First of all, for the last 3 years, I think cable TV in the Soviet Union has been a well-known, very profitable business to make money, because state-owned TV cannot broadcast new American and other Western movies because they cannot violate copyright law.
All right, thank you. You were shaking your head up.
Well, that's one of the big problems right now. Again, getting back to the legal difficulties of setting up a more extensive cable systems or broadcast systems. There is no copyright law agreement with the Soviet Union at the moment. So most of the films that are seen on a lot of the cable systems or multi-point distribution systems that have sprung up around the former Soviet Union are actually stolen. It's illegal product. They aren't paying for that product. And therefore there's a great deal of difficulty dealing with the Hollywood community or wherever they want to get their material to make sure that there is some security for it so that they get paid for it. And none of these things have been answered in the laws yet. The copyright laws haven't been written, the franchising laws haven't been written, the broadcasting laws haven't been written. When I was over there, the Russian Republic was just writing a set of laws. They couldn't agree on it. There were two ministries fighting over who should regulate cable, the wired cable systems. And they couldn't agree, so they decided that both would have to grant licenses. And, of course, from the cable industry's point of view in the United States, this is not the right answer to have to go through two franchising processes with two different ministries. So we were urging that they rethink that law.
There's an interesting column in this morning's New York Times by Bill Sapphire. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't.
It's called No Horror Show. It's too long to go into detail here, but I just passed it on for those who are interested in this kind of story. He says, put yourself in the shoes of an assignment editor for any of the news media today as shoppers in Russia return to stores closed for the New Year's holiday. You dispatch reporters to cover an inflationary horror show. What Gorbachev had long flinched from doing, Boris Yeltsin has just dared to do: ended the state subsidies for most goods, removed the corrupt bureaucracy from the marketplace, and opened the economy to the law of supply and demand. You send one camera crew to a food market to take pictures of the price signs and ask for interviews with enraged shoppers who cannot afford the food in the stores. You send another foreign correspondent to a Russian economist raised in the communist system who deplores the shock therapy of the selected leadership and predicts the inflation that led to the collapse of Germany's Weimar Republic, followed by food riots in Moscow and authoritarian. You guys see what he's getting at here?
Well, unaccustomed as I am to, I know where he's going, unaccustomed as I am to agreeing with Bill Safire, I would definitely agree that that's a very warped picture of what's going on.
He goes on to say, for the reaction of the American intelligentsia, you get a soundbite from a think tanker with CIA ties or a Gorbaphile in a Princeton tie. Didn't work in Poland, won't work in Russia, is bitten off, or the Russian people are not culturally prepared for self-rule and yearn for the stability of central command. That's the obvious story. Anger and worry in the faces of women wearing babushkas. Learned predictions of doom by the acolytes, proponents of failed half measures.
I'd like to tell a little story and hear Vitaly's response to it, because, again, we have a lot of friends over there who we talk to. You can call. And I was there in November and brought over pounds of sugar and lots of coffee and tea and for my friends, and found that I was eating better there than I had eaten in a long time, more than I should have, and went into private homes and had a full spread of food and said, well, wait a minute, what's going on? And one of my interpreters was laughing about this one day, and she said, yes, it's true there's no food in the stores. It's because it's all in our homes. We've been buying it for the last 8 to 10 months. And I had a long discussion about this with somebody in St. Petersburg who was starting a private business. And we talked about the devaluation. It happened that I was there when Yeltsin announced that they were going to open the market, let the ruble float. And they weren't terribly concerned about that. They said, look, people who know how to play the game can get food. Food is available, it's just not available at the adjusted state price anymore. So the black market, if you will, was the actual market for the last several months. And he was talking about being a private businessman. And he said, I'm very pessimistic. He said, I was optimistic and now I'm pessimistic. And I was trying to be the good Samaritan coming in and saying, no, you can do it, you can have a change of the values and it will work, and then business will come to the Soviet Union and so on. And he said, I'm not worried about that. He said, there are hundreds of thousands of folks in St. Petersburg who understand enough about private business that they will get into private business and they will start to flourish and they will start to make money. So I said, well, are you afraid of another coup? And he said, no, I'm not afraid of the people above me. I'm afraid that once we start making money, those who have been trained that making money is not good, those who are not eating, those who do not get into the new system, will come and kill me.
Your reaction?
I agree with Stephen, and I think that this is very up-to-date, and this is very what expresses the most concern among our population of Moscow and St. Petersburg, and among the population of big cities, including also in the rural area.
By the way, Bill Safire goes on, this is an operative paragraph I wanted to ask you about. That's the story. I mean, it led up to all the where people are going to go on the evening news and what they're going to get as a soundbite. He said that's the story because A, easy to cover, B, gratifying to panic mongers, and C, safe. What everybody else is saying the story is. And nobody ever gets burned for predicting doom. It can be explained later as just a proper show of concern.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that things are good over there. I'm not saying that it's easy to get food or that there aren't shortages. There are. But the doom that is described there and that we're seeing on the news right now is not really an accurate portrayal of what's going on.
Let's watch a little more of this documentary, a couple of minutes. We'll take a couple of calls, and we're going to be out of time here. There's plenty more to go on this whole subject. But this, if you've just joined us, is a part of a documentary shot by a cable television channel in Moscow called Ekran Cable TV, located about 30 minutes from downtown near the Red Square. The apartment house is located 30 minutes from downtown. Let's watch a little bit more of this, and we'll come back to our two guests.
Ясно. Нарисовали что-нибудь здесь? Здесь нет. Мы вынашиваем в голове. Все будет потом представлено. Потом нарисуете? Естественно. Это будет классно. А где вы выставляете? У себя в квартире. Понятно, понятно. Хорошо. Ну вы здесь в оцеплении или просто так тусуетесь? Нет, мы полны решимости. Ну понятно, ясно, хорошо. Кисточки взяли острые с собой, на всякий случай.
Зачем?
Тыкать?
Убеждать будем словами.
Разные люди, незнакомые друг другу, стояли в этих цепях. Что привело сюда каждого из них, это их дело, личное. Общее было одно. Все они уже сделали свой выбор. Одни только здесь, на ступенях Белого дома. Другие раньше, на промерзлых митингах, когда бело-синий-красный флаг был еще в диковинку.
А как же приказ? Ну, был приказ от министра обороны, очевидно, прийти сюда и все сделать, чтобы было тихо.
А что за обязательно?
Ну вот интересно, были колебания, нет?
Ну, так ему сразу перешел сюда. Министр что-то? Понятно. Слушай, а были колебания?
Next call for our remaining 4 minutes, Dayton, Ohio. Go ahead, please.
Yes, this is my first time call, so I'm bound to be a little nervous maybe. But I wanted to get your guest's viewpoint on the idea of American foundations using an educational tool in a pre-market system. For instance, I'm supporting one foundation who is sending books to the universities over there. And then another foundation, the Free Market Foundation of Moscow, that's setting up a newspaper. And I wanted to get some feedback on what they thought about these foundations and the value of them. Thank you.
Have you heard of, when you lived in Moscow, of Americans sending over books or what she's talking about, and is it a good idea?
I think that the idea itself is very good and very useful. In these hard times, for us, it's essential to have not only good food and not only good food, but only good books. And I fully agree with this lady that she has a good business, a good deal, helping us.
What do you think, Steve Effros?
It's a great idea. The problem is distribution, making sure it gets where it's supposed to be going.
Salem, Oregon. Go ahead, please, our last call.
Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for C-SPAN.
Thank you.
I would like to know what you know, or what Vitaly might know, about the joint venture of Vladimir Posner and Phil Donahue. I saw it on something a month or two ago, and I'd like to know what you know. And also, Vitaly, I think you got an A+ on your exam. Can't we give this young man a permanent job? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you know anything about Vladimir Posner and Phil
I think
Donahue?
the deal is an American deal, not a Soviet deal. I think he cut his deal in the United States.
Was Vladimir Posner, is he someone that's known to you?
Yes, exactly. He is a TV journalist, very famous in the Soviet Union, and he considers himself, by the way, independent. Yes. When he was a very interesting interview recently, a month or two ago on the Soviet television, on the first channel, by the way, also, and he said that I'm a very independent man. If they're gonna fire me, well, I found myself a job. I don't care about what will